Alright, all my Anons, I got a challenge for you. Need you to prove this story wrong one way or another, or tell me whether or not it's true. This is not a hit on Anonymous, this is not a hate on Anonymous or anything else. This is just a story going out on something I found, and I found this a while back, but I thought it was not the best to show because it shows Anonymous in a weak light. But you know what? I'm going to let Anonymous destroy this story once and for all, or do something about it. So, the story is coming from The Escapist. What it basically says that Time Warner basically owns and operates Anonymous via its licensing, and the way it kind of goes on, it kind of ran or had sponsored some of the early protests and may or may not run the bulk of what an Anonymous is now. I've told you before, and I'll tell you again, I remember Anonymous and the main symbol being in the 1990s, so the idea that it was anything before the 2008 protests is ridiculous at best. I know Anonymous goes back to probably the 1950s, and some other things are incorporated into it, and it's just kind of turned into an hacktivist group more recently. And so this is what I'm going to leave you with the story, and I would like all Anons that are on here to please destroy this story. I'm only here to provide the message. This is it, folks. Coming from The Escapist. Anonymous unwittingly funds Time Warner. The part that you want's down here. But basically, the Guy Fawkes mask is a symbol of Anonymous, but guess who licenses the likeness? Time Warner. Basically says Time Warner via Warner Brothers owns a licensing portion precedes each mask sold, or basically receives a portion of each mask sold. Now, I understand that there's a lot that go on Amazon, and there are a lot of masks that are made in shops and stuff like that. Now, I don't know where one begins and the other goes out. Obviously, the V for Vendetta mask via Time Warner and Warner Brothers thereof. Well, some company does probably own rights to that. But the idea that Anonymous, is not licensed by any company or government, well, there's a little bit here, a little bit there. We all know that. And the likeness is nothing, and that's why you don't buy the corporate version of the mask. Anyways, any of you Anons out there want to destroy this story, let me know. Let me know what the real deal is and what it isn't. Obviously, companies are going to sell likenesses of different things, and there's not much you can do. But basically, Warner Brothers via Time Warner comes out and says, we sell over 100,000 of these masks each year, and it's by far the best-selling mask that we sell, said Howard Beach from Ruby's Costumes, the company that makes the mask. In comparison, would usually sell 5,000 or so of our other masks. And basically, they kind of get there and they talk about it, and they talk about how it's related to, Church of Scientology, Time Warner, and the umbrella thereof, HBO, New Line Cinema, Turner Broadcasting, to name a few. I'm not here to rip on Anonymous. I'm here to give this information to them. Hopefully, they use it for what they need to use it for. So, Anonymous, my hat's off to you guys. Go handle your corporate licensees, and who knows, maybe you can even get the likeness bought back to whoever's actually running Anonymous. Alright guys, thank you.